Okay, now let's go ahead and analyze, or read through anyway, document C, and then I'll let you come up with your evidence. So open your packet to document C. Now the first thing we want to do is to circle the entire document, everything we see. So that is the source and the document, not the questions, just the source and the document in this case. Now we draw an arrow towards the source and we read it. Historian Michael Wood, as quoted in the 2009 PBS documentary The Story of India. So underline the story of India. So this source, this quote, comes from a movie, a documentary movie on PBS called The Story of India. So that makes this a what? Primary or secondary source? Hands up. Primary or secondary? That's right, it's a secondary source. So we'll put secondary source right here. It's a secondary source. Okay? Now let's take a minute and just read through the document. So here's what Michael Wood says. When the war in Kalinga was over and the people were conquered, he, Asoka, felt inside him a great crisis, a stirring for meaning and a remorse. Let's underline that. He felt a great crisis, a stirring for meaning and a remorse. Now what does remorse mean? Let's put a box around remorse, and then we'll put a little note thingy here, little note star, and a little note star up there, and we'll put regret. E-R-E-G-R-E-T. He felt a regret. Now what do you suppose he regretted? Probably killing 355,000 people, whatever. Asoka, let's finish, let's continue. Asoka goes on a pilgrimage seeking a guru, a teacher. And by the riverbank he met a Buddhist monk. And the monk told him to sit beneath the Bodhi tree where the Buddha had found enlightenment. Now I don't know if it's exactly the same tree where the Buddha was, but you get the point. Sit down under this tree and meditate. Think about what you've done. And there, where? Under the tree. And there, under the tree, the power of ideas and the power of the state came together in a uniquely Indian way. Now, you understand the power of ideas. Let's underline the power of ideas. But maybe you don't understand the power of the state. Right here, this phrase, power of the state, is referring to, we'll draw a little arrow out here, government. G-O-V''T. Government. That's supposed to be an apostrophe. G-O-V''T. So that's what power of state is. So the power of ideas and the government, the idea of government, came together in a uniquely Indian way. It, what's the it? This combination of ideas. So this combination of ideas was a rejection of the path of violence and a whole way of understanding history. While he was here, where? Under the tree. While he was here, Asoka gave rich gifts to the poor. He consulted with local communities about proper governance, about good conduct. Forming in his mind now was a political order, the sort of which had never been conceived of before in the history of the world. Okay, so let's underline that. Forming in his mind now was a political order, the sort of which had never been conceived of before in the history of the world. Now what does he mean by that? Well, it means that Asoka, for the first time, is going to take the ideas of Buddhism and the ideas of government and combine them together to try to run an empire according to the concepts of Buddhism, you know, Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path, that kind of thing. All right? Now, what evidence do we have here for enlightened ruler or ruthless conqueror. So we go back to our chart now. You see, I already have some B here, but we didn't do B, and you don't have to do B. So you just draw your line under A, okay? Draw your line under A, put document C there, and continue. I'm going to draw mine under B. I'm going to put document C here. And now I'm going to put evidence, either merciless conqueror evidence or wise ruler evidence. You decide, put in the evidence and what it means in these two columns. Okay? Do that now.